Hi guys, today's video I'm so excited about because when I saw that this brand was coming out with this palette, I didn't even know what the inside was. This is what I saw, and this is the new palette from Whatsup Beauty. It's called the Dragon Eye palette. I mean, the packaging on this is just absolutely stunning, and it's so cool and so unique. And when I saw that this was coming out, I just knew that this was going to be amazing. And then they asked if they could send it to me, and I could not have been happier because I would have bought this myself regardless of what the inside was. And I'm just really excited to show you this. Now, I've been raving about Whatsup Beauty for a while. I have both of their first two palettes. I have the Monsoon palette, which is the first one they came out with. Amazing quality, beautiful mattes, beautiful shimmers. Then they came out with the Geodes palette, which is a little bit of a lighter palette. I would say this one has a couple of pops of color in the mattes that the other palettes don't have, but again, beautiful quality, really nice palettes. And I love the size of these. I love how small they are, and they're very travel friendly. And this again is just another beautiful palette from them. I do kind of wish that it would have been a little bit more colorful in the mattes. I would have loved to see like a really deep dark, either teal or green or something like that matte to go with this color story. I think that would have really made it a little bit more special. But again, it is basically a neutral palette with some pops of color in the shimmers, which I'm not mad at. I really like that personally, but I do think that they could have done maybe a little bit more with this just to spice it up a little bit. But I'm excited, and you'll know that I'm excited because there's a lot of brands that are coming out with stuff right now, and this is the one that I'm prioritizing because I really want to get this video up before the launch. And when people say that influencers usually will prioritize the brands that they have codes with, I don't have a code with this brand. I make absolutely nothing from this brand whatsoever. I'm just excited about the palette, and I just want to show it to you. So I'm going to show you 3 looks, I'm going to give you my review on this, and that's going to be that. So I have already filmed 2 looks, and I will show you those at the end of the video, but I do want to do another look with you on camera, and I do want to play with some colors that I haven't played with, or that I want to kind of play with again for whatever reason. Speaking of Whatsup Beauty, I'm actually using one of their brushes to apply my eyeshadow primer. This is a very large blending brush, so I like using it for this instead. That's kind of what I do with brushes that I find too big to use with like actual shadows for me. So this has become a eyeshadow primer brush, but their brushes are so nice. Like I use them all the time. If you ever see me use a brush with a pink handle, it's from Whatsup Beauty. I think their brushes are amazing. Their quality overall is just so stinking good, and I'm like really happy for them. I don't know if any of you watched Tati, but she actually talked about one of their palettes in one of her like reviewing indie makeup kind of videos that she did, and she mentioned, I think it was the Monsoon palette. It could have been the other one. Either way, I was just like, oh my god, I love this brand so much too. I was like so happy for them. So I think what I want to do today is I really want to use this purple again. I used it in the first look I did together with this matte, and I just felt like it was a little sheer. I want to try it again, give it another chance. I'm going to use it with this purple because I haven't used that one yet. So we're going to do a very purple look today with these 2 in the crease, and then maybe I really want to use this one again too. I really want to use all of these. The shimmers in this are so beautiful. We're just going to start with the shade and kind of take it one color at a time here and see where we end up. Just going to put this into my crease as my transition shade. I'm not going to do anything fancy. I know I say that all the time, but especially when reviewing new palettes, and I was going to say new formulas, but this isn't really a new to me formula, but I just want to make sure that I know how things perform when used in a way that I would normally use my eyeshadows. I hope that makes sense, but that is beautiful. That's going on really nicely. I've also said before that like mauves like this aren't really my favorite, but every time I do a mauve look and I say that, I don't end up hating it. So I don't know, maybe it's just like a color that I don't really like personally, but it still looks good on me. I don't know, but this is performing really nicely. This palette is launching on the 17th. I want to make sure it's 9 a.m. PST on November 17th. And like I said, I don't have a code or anything with them. I think they're sold at Walmart, but I don't know if they launch at Walmart on the same time. I will have their website linked down below, obviously, if you want to go check it out when they launch. So before I go in with my lower lash line, I'm just going to try to deepen this up. I'm going to use the dark purple like I was saying before. And I did struggle a little bit with this in my first look. I don't know if struggle is the right word. I just felt like it wasn't as kind of punchy and buildable as what I'm used to, but I also just need to try it one more time to see if I change my mind. And it's not like I didn't get a good look out of it. I don't know. I just felt like it was a little bit weaker than some of their other dark mattes. But I mean, this time it seems to be performing really well. So maybe I was just having an off day. Maybe I just didn't put on enough eyeshadow primer or something. You know, this is why you need to try something multiple times, especially the things that you are having a problem with the first time. It's important to give them another go just to make sure that your first impression was correct, because I'm not having any issues with this shade this time, and it's layering very, very nicely and performing well. So I take back my statement of what I said about this not being the most buildable. I do maybe wish that there was a, I don't know what I'm trying to say. I feel like I just wish there was a little bit more depth in this purple. But again, it's dark enough, but I think it's just because it's a little muted. It doesn't feel like it's as dark as maybe it is, because it is more of a gray-based purple. Okay, I mean, this looks great. I'm not gonna say anything else about this shade. I'm gonna take the same shade underneath my eye just so we can get a cohesive look all the way around. Just working on the shape in the outer corner a little bit. You guys know I like to wing out my shadows ever so slightly, so that is what I'm going to do today as well. Just taking the first shade that I used in my transition and just running that over the edge again to make sure that the blend between these two colors are looking good. And then I will show you what some of these shimmers look like. I think I've used most of them so far. I can't remember which ones I haven't dipped into, because I feel like I dipped into all of them, but there might be like one shade that I haven't used yet, but all of these are so pretty. Like, I don't think I've used this shade, which is probably the most neutral of the bunch. Like I did say, I want to use this one again, but I don't know, since I have used it and it's beautiful, maybe I should try this shade just to see what this one looks like. I'm also not sure if I've used this one yet, but let's go ahead and use this one probably, and then this one I'm thinking are gonna be the two that we're gonna use, because I do need a lighter shade just in the front portion of my lid, because that's just how I roll. I am gonna use some glitter primer with this, because I definitely feel like this formula benefits from having a glitter primer, because the shades are very sparkly, and I feel like a glitter primer really just brings out that sparkle even more. So I am applying it with one of my Whatsup Beauty brushes. This is the, what is this one called? R110 brush. It's just a very flat, small, kind of detailed lid brush, I would call it. And I really like their brushes. I know I've said it before, but I'm gonna take the shade called Myth, which is this one. And we're gonna see what this one looks like on the eyes. I think this is a black-based shade, but we'll see. I'm just gonna basically put it all over my lid, I think, just so we can really get that shift, because that is definitely the best way to show off multi-chrome shades, is to put it over a big area, because that way you get that curve on your lid that really shows off the shift when it when you see it in different lightings and stuff. That is really pretty. Like I said, also definitely the most neutral of the shimmers in this palette, but I think it's gonna have a pretty strong shift to it, which I'll try to show with the mirror once I've gotten it all applied. But this looks really, really pretty. I've had a tiny amount of creasing with these shades, nothing really that's bothering me, because shimmers do tend to crease on me, especially, you know, very creamy special shimmers like this. And I would say the amount of creasing I have with these is almost not even like worth mentioning, because it's really not much at all. And I've worn these for very long hours and they've looked pretty decent at the end of the day, despite me not even like tapping over them at all. So just a tiny amount of creasing, which is to be expected if I'm being honest. But that looks beautiful. Yeah, I really like that. Let's see if we can see the shift in that shadow. Oh, I can definitely see it. I hope you can see it as well. It shifts to sort of like an orange. Let's try this side. So make sure you get the angle right. I think you can see that. Yeah, that is beautiful. Let's do the shade called Fly just on the inner portion, which is this one. This one has more of a, like a green shift to it. We're or like a green blue shift. I don't know, it's hard to explain. I'll just show it on the eyes instead. But I'm someone who always needs to have a light kind of iridescent shade in my inner corner. It's just what I prefer. And at first you might think, oh, that's not gonna go with this look, but you just wait and see. It's all gonna come together. That looks really pretty. I really, really like this shade. And I'm really excited to have another one of their palettes in my collection because I feel like this is very much like a collectible brand. Like I was saying in the beginning of the video, I love the size of their palettes. Like they're so compact and so small, and yet they're able to put in so many shades and have them be amazing quality. And I wish that other brands would come out with like smaller palettes like this as well, because they're just like so easy to store, so easy to use, and like they're tiny. Like, okay, they're maybe not that small, but compared to a lot of other palettes with the same amount of shades in them, like this is a very small palette, and I just appreciate that very much. And I feel like you still get a decent amount of product in here. This one has 10.3 grams. And I guess like a normal eyeshadow is like 1 gram. I don't really know. Like I don't pay attention to how much shadow is in a palette, but I feel like this is a decent amount for like how small the pan sizes are and how small the palette is. And I love that there's just like no wasted space inside or anything like that. It's just really nice and compact. I'm just gonna take a little bit of the shade underneath my eye as well. I'm just gonna use this dry because I really just want a little bit of sparkles. I don't need this to go overboard, but just to have a little bit of something. Yeah, I think that's all I'm gonna do honestly for the eye look. Super simple, really fast, but very effective. I'm just gonna pop on some lashes, something in my waterline, and some mascara. This is the look all done. I think my lashes are the baby lashes from Unicorn Cosmetics. I can't promise for sure, but that is what they look like when I put them on. They obviously were not in their original container because why would they be? They're lashes. Listen, I can't be the only one, right, who just always misplaces their lashes. Maybe I am, and if that's the case, I'm so sorry, but let me go ahead and show you the other two looks that I've done with this palette. I've so far just had a really, really good time. I really wanted to just dig into these shimmers, see what they were all about, and I was not disappointed in the slightest. I think that they are all beautiful. They're so sparkly, so smooth, really easy to apply, especially on top of a glitter primer. I have not tried them dry. I probably wouldn't recommend using these dry just because, like I said, they are a very sparkly formula, and so they can tend to maybe get a little bit of fallout and stuff, and I just feel like these kind of shades will stick better on your eyes and just look better in general if you use a tacky base. Spray your brush. I do get questions what I spray my brush with. It's really not that important like what you spray it with, but I use Fix Plus from MAC. You can use any kind of setting spray. You can use water if you want. The only thing I will say is maybe try to stay away from an alcohol-based spray as it might irritate your eyes, but just get your brush wet when you have the shadow on it and then apply it, and it's gonna look really, really nice. And you would pretty much get the same result as if you were to use a glitter primer. So if you don't have that, maybe try just spraying it with some water or something like that. It'll work great. But yeah, I think this is just such a beautiful palette. I love the packaging of it so much, and even though the color story isn't maybe what I expected it to be, and maybe I wanted a little bit more, I still think it's a really beautiful palette, and I think if you're someone who's more into neutral makeup, you're gonna love this. I do feel like this is definitely for neutral lovers, more so than for colorful lovers, but maybe if you're also somewhere in between like myself, this could be a palette for you too, but I just think it's beautiful. I think the quality is really nice, and I think it's a really nice addition to their line. Maybe next time a couple of more fun, exciting, colorful mattes would be fun. I don't mind the inclusion of the neutrals. I just wish that there was a little bit of something to just really give it that oomph that it maybe needs, but that could just be me as well. But yeah, I think that's gonna sum up my thoughts on this and basically this video. Let me know if you're interested in this brand. Do you have anything from Whatsup Beauty? And if you do, which palette do you have and how do you feel about it? Because I feel like if you have any of these palettes, there's just no way you're not gonna like them because I think they're beautiful. Also, they are very heavy, and I just realized that because I was moving my little stack here over to this side of the table, and I was like, Jesus Christ, for being 3 palettes that are this tiny, like, they got some weight to them. Like, these are heavy palettes, so just another thing to mention, because usually weight means that, you know, something is like really nice quality, which I would definitely say that all of these palettes are. So it's gonna be my thought on the Dragon Eye palette. I can make a Whatsup Beauty playlist. I don't think I have one. I can put that right there. And if you're new, don't forget to subscribe, and I'll see you in my next video. Bye.